Hey YouTube. So the Grammys released their nominations for the 2025 Grammy Award ceremony, and Beyonce is leading everyone in nominations with 11 nominations total. Cowboy Carter is nominated in multiple categories for multiple songs, and here's the list right here. Cowboy Carter is nominated for Album of the Year and Best Country Album. Texas Hold'em is nominated for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Country Song. 16 Carriages is nominated for Best Country Solo Performance. Two Most Wanted featuring Miley Cyrus is nominated for Best Country Duo/Group Performance. Spaghetti featuring Linda Martell and Shaboozey is nominated for Best Melodic Rap Performance. Levi's Jeans featuring Post Malone is nominated for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. Yaya is nominated for Best Americana Performance, and Bodyguard is nominated for Best Pop Solo Performance. Notice how Beyonce is nominated in multiple categories. We have pop, we have country, we have rap, um, we have Americana. This album by Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, in my opinion, is Beyonce's most creative and ambitious album. It is her best album vocally and production wise, in my opinion. Now, of course, because it's Beyonce, there's a lot of haters and a lot of naysayers and the usual think pieces that come out against her anytime something good happens to her. Now, let me say this really quickly. I'm not a fan of the Grammys, and I personally don't think the Grammys is a good measure for how talented an artist is. There are artists who are very talented who haven't gotten any Grammys or any Grammy nominations. Does that make them any less talented? No. Um and I feel like the Grammys is biased in their own way, and I feel like they get things wrong a lot of the times, okay? Nevertheless, for whatever reason, Grammys are very important to musical artists. Um, Apparently, they want to be, recognized by their peers for their work. So a Grammy is considered like the top award for a musical artist. As much as I don't like the Grammys, and as much as I hope Black people stop putting the Grammys on a pedestal, at the end of the day, this is an achievement that is important to them. So with that being said, Beyonce being nominated for 11 Grammys is spectacular. These are the facts about Cowboy Carter, because I see a lot of people talking shit. Cowboy Carter is platinum. It sold over 1 million units in the United States. The first week sales were 407,000 units. This was the top selling. This was the highest debut for a female artist before Taylor Swift's album came out. So Beyonce basically had the second highest debut sales for a female artist this year. It sold over 62,000 vinyl copies. It debuted at number one on the Billboard 200, and it was number one for 2 weeks on the Billboard 200. Not only that, but Beyonce was the first Black woman to have a number one album on the country charts, and that's what she cared about the most. Um, and it had over 23 songs debut on the Billboard Hot 100. These are the facts about Cowboy Carter. It broke records, it made history, it put a lot of other country artists on who were not given their just due or recognition. Linda Martell is she's an older country artist who's a Black woman who was not respected in the country genre. Apparently, there is a lot of racism and misogyny within the country genre. Racist white people are trying to take complete ownership over the country genre, and as history shows it, Black people were the ones who started country music. But of course, white people hijacked it, they whitewashed it, and now whenever a Black person tries to get into the country space, they experience a lot of racism, discrimination. They're not recognized for their work. And one thing I love about Beyonce is that she is a class act. So after the news came out that Beyonce was nominated for like 11 nominations, you have to understand that a lot of the people that she collaborated with are also being nominated for these awards as well. This Cowboy Carter album allowed Linda Martell, has passed away, but it allowed her to be nominated for her first ever Grammy for her work as a country artist. And Beyonce posted this on her social media. She says, "Congratulations to my queen, Linda Martell, on your nomination and your contribution to country music. This is someone who was shunned and put to the side and ignored for her contribution to country music, and years later, Beyonce samples her voice for her album, giving recognition and a spotlight on these voices that have been blocked out. And to me, that's all this was about. If y'all pay attention to what Beyonce said, she said the first there's just so much that you can just talk about with this album, which is why to me it is album of the year. It is. Um Beyonce experienced racism and discrimination and rejection at the CMAs. She performed daddy lessons at the CMAs years ago, and those people were racist to her. They were disrespectful to her, even though she gave them their highest rated 15 minutes in their lifetime. Nobody watches the CMAs. The CMAs is one of the lowest rated shows ever. Nobody gives a fuck. But when Beyonce went there, she gave them their highest views that they've ever experienced. And it was met with a lot of racism and backlash, so much so that the CMAs had to take her performance from their website. And apparently that situation right there inspired Beyonce to make this album, because racist white people feel like they own country music, and they feel like Beyonce shouldn't be allowed or accepted into the country genre. Never mind the fact that black people started country music, and Beyonce is a country girl. She was raised in Houston, Texas. She performed at the rodeo. She's always represented Texas. She always proudly donned her cowgirl hats. That wasn't just an aesthetic to her. That is her culture. She grew up in the country. She grew up in Houston, Texas. You got white people who aren't even country who are being accepted in the country spaces, yet Beyonce is met with all this fucking racism and misogyny, which is typical for the United States. But anyway, so Beyonce made this album not just to entertain people. She made it to honor those who were discredited and pushed aside before her. She made it to educate us about the history of country music. And I'm sorry, but anybody out there saying that this is a bad album, you are full of shit. You are full of shit. The musicality, the production, the vocals, the arrangements, the detail, the history, um, the intention, and the clear intention in how the album was put together. You telling me that this album was trash? You can't be fucking serious. Nobody is putting out art. Everyone is putting out senseless noise that they want to trend on social media. That's what people are putting out. Beyonce put out art when she put out Cowboy Carter. Nothing about this album was lazy. Nothing about this album was rushed. Nothing about this album was um dumbed down. If you actually listen to the lyrics, if you actually listen to the arrangements, the vocals, Beyonce used her voice in ways that I've never heard her use it before. This is Beyonce's most creative, most vocally superior album. I don't care what anyone says. And y'all talking about billboards and streaming, y'all understand Beyonce is a pre-streaming artist, meaning that a lot of her fans are pre-streaming listeners. Me personally, I don't stream her music. I buy her albums, I download it to my device, and I listen to my downloaded album from my device. Or I pull out my vinyl, or I pull out my CD player. Well, I don't really pull out my CD player. I just keep that for collections purposes. But I don't stream. I don't use Spotify. I don't use Apple Music and all this other shit that y'all are talking about. I download the music that I want to listen to, and I listen to it from my device. So just because you don't see her streaming as much as other people, that don't mean that her music is not good. That just means that Beyonce is a pre-streaming artist. She's a 90s artist. Do y'all understand how significant it is to be an artist who debuted in the 90s, who is still being nominated for Grammys? You're still able to tour off of your new music. You don't have to go on legacy tours. You're touring off of your new music. You're getting nominations off of your new music. Not only are you getting nominations, you're getting more nominations than anyone else. Beyonce has the most nominations this upcoming year, 11. Not only that, but that 11 nominations is more nominations for any album that has ever come out. They said that she broke like Michael Jackson's record, because I think Michael Jackson's Thriller album had like 10 nominations and Cowboy Carter has 11. And then not only that, but with these 11 nominations, Beyonce has 99 nominations total, which makes her the most nominated artist of all time. Granted, she's had a very, very long career, but that's just a testament to her longevity. That's a testament to how her music grows with her. She's not like that deflated ant-shaped bitch who's been putting out the same garbage for the past 10, 15 years, and she still can't understand why she can't even get a simple nomination. Beyonce's music elevates with her, it grows with her, it changes with her. All of y'all complaining about her dropping music with different genres, she's done everything that was expected of her. She did R&B, she did urban, she did was Afro beats, she did pop, she did everything that was expected of her. She's in a space in her career right now where she can do other things. She don't want to be singing and doing the same shit that she was doing 20 years ago, 10 years ago. She's a different person at this point in her life. You know what I'm saying? Like she's a mother now. She's a businesswoman. She's a wife. She's, she has evolved as a human being. So of course her art is not going to be exactly the same as it was, but her talent is always there. It was clear that this wasn't just some shit she wanted to put together. She was telling us a story with this album. This album had intention behind it. It wasn't really meant to just simply entertain. This was something that you're supposed to sit back and listen to and dissect and listen to the lyrics and really enjoy a piece of work, a piece of art. Nobody's doing it like Beyonce, bro. Nobody's doing it like her. Like everybody else is putting out the same popcorn, bubblegum, microwave shit. Everybody's putting out the same shit. I don't see nobody taking risks the way Beyonce's taking risks. You think that she can't follow the same formula from 2009 and just come out with another single, ladies? You think that she can't do what she did and come out with another R&B album? She could do that if she wanted to. She could. But she has a love for music. She has a love for artistry. She's an artist. That's why she's not putting out shit that y'all specifically want her to put out. She's in a different space in her life. And I don't care what nobody say. Cowboy Carter is one of the best albums I've ever listened to. No, there's not a lot of shaking ass music. There's not a lot of shaking ass music. There are a couple songs in there that you can shake your ass to. But most of the songs in Cowboy Carter are for the people who have an ear for vocals and melodies, harmonies, vocal arrangements, strings, and other instruments. This is for lovers of music. This album was meant for you to sit down, put your headphones on, and just enjoy the sounds. This ain't about you shaking your ass. And ain't nothing wrong with shaking your ass music. I'm just saying, like, because it's not shaking your ass music, you think it's not good music. You think it's quote unquote boring. But it probably just wasn't for y'all. Like, this type of music just not for y'all, and that's okay. But clearly the Recording Academy, they like what they heard and they nominated her. Now, let me say this again. I'm not a fan of the Grammys. Just because she got 11 nominations, it doesn't mean she's going to win all 11 nominations. As a matter of fact, there's a possibility that she wins 0 nominations. The Grammys are petty like that. Like, I could see them doing that. They are hyping it up, though, all over the Recording Academy's social media profiles. They're bragging about all these awards and nominations that Beyonce has gotten. Me personally, I'm not specifically moved by the nominations themselves. I'm more so focused on Cowboy Carter, the quality of that type of album. I strongly encourage everyone, especially after the election results, election results, people are going back to Cowboy Carter and finding comfort in this album, and how this album is so relevant to the current climate that we're in. She does get a little bit political in this album. Like I said, this ain't shaking your ass entertainment. This is literally art and something that's meant to make you think. That's what it was meant for. But me, of course, I want to see Beyonce be recognized for the amazing artist that she is. Of course, I want her work to be awarded for the amazing work that it is. And all of the people that contributed to this album, the people whose voices were silenced, the people who are trying to get into the country spaces, but they're not being given a chance. Beyonce didn't just do this for herself. She did this for the voices before her. She did this for the up and coming artists. And she's doing this for, and then there's other people nominated on this album as well. So it's like, it's not just about her. She brought these people with her. And, you know, only somebody like Beyonce would do some shit like that. Like, seriously. Um, but anyway, yeah, I'm proud to be. Like, y'all have to put this into perspective. She's someone who debuted in the 90s. She has survived every trend change. She has survived all of these decades. She's still number one. Like, she's still dropping number one albums. Texas Hold'em went number one as well. She's dropping number one albums, number one singles. It is insane for a 90s artist to still be leading Grammy nominations in 2025. Like 11 nominations, more nominations for any album that ever exists, 99 nominations total. And you doing this in 2025, going up against people who are currently in their prime, people that debuted well after you, people that watched you when they were younger, people that looked up to you when they were younger. You are still in the game and you are still getting nominated, and they're proud to be in categories with you because they looked up to you when they were younger. She's still doing this shit, bro. She's still doing it. And guess what? She got another album coming out as well, Act 3. So it's just, you know, the cost of being a black woman is not a cheap cost. It is hard being a black woman. As a black woman, you have to work twice as hard as others just to get half the reward. We saw that with the election. The world is going to hate you while you're here, but then when you're passed on to the next life, all of a sudden people give you all the respect that you deserve. It's hard being a black woman. It truly is. The world literally hates you, but they need you at the same time. Like, all of these white people were being so racist towards Beyonce this year. Yet when you go to TikTok, they are using her music to go viral. They're dancing to her songs. They're using her songs to build their pages, to build their views. All of these white people singing her songs, dancing to her songs, lip syncing her lyrics. All of these white people getting all this engagement off of Beyonce's art just to turn around and keep disrespecting her. That's what I'm saying. It's like they won't respect you. They will disrespect you. They will trash your name. They will be racist and just evil to you, but they will still use you at the end of the day. Like, I'm disgusted. Like, how bad white people treated Beyonce this year, not just from the album, but because of the election and all this other shit. Y'all were really going in on Beyonce this year, and still to this day, yet you get your ass on social media and you use her music to go viral. You use her music to grow your channel. You use her music to grow your page. I find it very disrespectful. But at the end of the day, Beyonce will go down in history as one of the greatest artists of all time, the greatest performers of all time. No matter what dirt y'all throw on this woman's name, people that actually meet her, work with her, and interact with her say she is the most kindest, most hardworking, most generous, humble person that they have ever met. And that has been the same narrative since the 90s when she first came out. Everybody, people who did the Renaissance World Tour with her, coming out talking about her work ethic, her kindness, her dedication as a mother. People from the past who work with her saying the same shit. Everyone has always said the same shit about Beyonce. From the 90s, the early 2000s, the 2010s, and even to now. Over the past several decades, people all say the same thing. People actually meet this woman, work with this woman, and interact with this woman, say that she is kind, she's selfless, she's generous, she's encouraging, she's respectful, she's humble. Beyonce will, and this is why Beyonce continues to be blessed. She continues to be blessed because she has a good heart. She's a genuine soul. And at the end of the day, Like I said, a Grammy to me doesn't measure an artist's success. It truly doesn't. Because I think the Grammys are rigged, and I think that they get it wrong all the time. But like I said, unfortunately, the artists do love Grammys, and Grammys is like that's like their ultimate award to get. So it is what it is. But no matter what happens at the Grammys next year, just know that at the end of the day, this is supposed to be music. STEM war shit aside, music is supposed to make us happy. It's supposed to entertain us. It's supposed to encourage us and motivate us at the end of the day. And if your favorite artist's music does that to you, that is worth more than a Grammy. And if you don't understand somebody else's art, don't listen to it. Don't engage with it. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's just not for you. But anyway, I'm proud of everything that she's done this year. She has had an amazing year despite people literally bullying her and trying to come for her. But this is a strong woman. She's been through worse, and she always gets the last laugh. She always comes out on top, and she always pivots, and that's one of the reasons why I love her so much. So congratulations, B.